Announcer Ken Kal. Ken, we're back at Little Caesars Arena for the Detroit Red Wings' third preseason game of this season. It's kind of weird to say, the 2021-22 season. Insane to even think that we're in that year, but we're coming off of a win. The boys were buzzing Thursday night as they won 6-2 over the Buffalo Sabres. And you know what, Ken? We had a shootout after, just, for fun, for some preseason fun. But we would have won it anyway because Fabry was the only one to net one. So it was a fun, exciting game. Great to have fans back in the arena.
Yeah, great to have fans back in the arena. It was an exciting game for the Red Wings. And, I think they treated the fans really well, especially the top line. We'll talk about them in just a few moments. But Robbie Fabry was really good. He had a couple of goals and also scored that goal in the practice shootout, as I like to call it. But overall, two good performances by the Red Wings. Really a solid team effort in that 6-2 victory over the Buffalo Sabres.
No kidding. And as you said, Fabry got the score rolling for the Detroit Red Wings. Let's take a look at some highlights. So Robbie Fabry on that top line with Lucas Raymond and Pius Suter, they were buzzing out there. I mean, they clicked so well. So Fabry netted that first one, and then we see followed by Lucas Raymond on that same line, his first game here at Little Caesars Arena in a winged wheel sweater. I mean, what an exciting first game for Lucas Raymond.
Yeah, really good play too, as he picked the man's pocket and actually shot that puck in and really looked good on that play. And that's being a smart player, knowing where to be and making it count and finishing. And Lucas Raymond, I thought he really played well for Detroit.
And how important is it to see confidence like that in a young player like Lucas Raymond?
Very, very good. And that's what he wants to show the coaching staff, is that he knows what to do with the puck and also without the puck. Very cerebral player from what I've seen up in Traverse City and even in the game that he played here the other night against Buffalo. So he's a really good player, and I just hope he continues to play well. We'll see him tonight, and I just hope he continues to play really well for the Red Wings and earn a spot on this team.
Couldn't agree more. Hopefully Coach Blashill's wife, Mrs. Blashill, liked what she saw out of Lucas Raymond in Thursday night's game. Hopefully he can keep the ball rolling. And then we saw a goal, the third for the Detroit Red Wings, out of Troy Stetcher. It's great to see a defenseman net one for the Wings.
Well, we always talk about the Red Wings needing some offense from the blue line core, and it always helps when you can get a goal from a defenseman, but he really rifled that shot. But what was really important, Carly, on that play is that there were two Red Wings in front of the net. I think it was I think it was Elson who was out in front. He picked up an assist. And then when we look at the Luke Witkowski goal, another defense that just blistered a shot. It came right off the face-off, and it's always good to see Luke score.
Absolutely. I know we're always rooting for Luke Witkowski. He can play both sides of the ice. He can play as a forward or as a defenseman, but we had him as a defenseman. But he, again, like we were saying, he took on some of that offensive weight off of the offensive men, of the forwards, out on the ice. And then we had Turner Elson again helping the Detroit Red Wings net another one. He had an assist on the last goal by the Detroit Red Wings, on John Martin's goal for the Detroit Red Wings. So really exciting to see that happen. And as we know, Robbie Fabry netting 2 for the night. I mean, just outstanding by a really exciting game to be back at Little Caesars Arena in front of a crowd.
As I mentioned, total team effort. And let's not forget Pius Suter. And I think he's been outstanding. We saw him up in Traverse City in the red-white game and also in the practices and the morning skates up there. And I think he's going to be a very, very pleasant surprise for Red Wing fans here, Pius Suter. He was +4 in that last hockey game, and I think he's really going to gel and really going to be a solid performer down the middle for Detroit.
Absolutely, and as we keep talking about that top line of Lucas Raymond in Thursday night's game, Lucas Raymond, Robbie Fabry, and Pius Suter, as we were just mentioned, they collected 3 goals and 4 assists on that top line. 1 goal and assist for Lucas Raymond, 2 goals for Robbie Fabry, and then he would have had a shootout goal, and Pius Suter getting 3 assists. So they were really clicking out there, but tonight we will see Lucas Raymond on a line with Dylan Larkin and Philip Zadina. So it's really exciting to see him secure and anchor a spot on the top line in the preseason.
Certainly is, and it'll be good to see Dylan Larkin play too.
Sure.
And he's been cleared to play. We didn't see him in the red-white game, Carly, and I think fans will enjoy watching Dylan come back. It's been a long offseason for him. He's had to go through some significant training and just to get back to 100% right now.
So this will be Dylan Larkin's first game back in a winged wheel sweater playing with the team since that injury they had against the Dallas Stars later in the season-ending injury. It's always scary to see any player go down, especially with a neck injury.
Certainly is. And again, as I mentioned, the rehab, and you've gone through some rehab with your knee, it's not fun. It's a lot of work. And when you're a hockey player and you play a majority of the games like he did last year, the last thing you want to do in the offseason is try and rehabilitate and get ready for the next year. You want to enjoy your summer. You want to get out on the lake, maybe fish, maybe do some boating. But Dylan
Like we
Larkin,
did this summer.
exactly. But Dylan Larkin, he had to really work hard. So it's good to see him back, and hopefully he can last all season long and be a big part and have a really rebound year this year.
Sure, because as we know, and Dylan Larkin has said so himself, he didn't have the year that he wanted to have last season.
No, he didn't, and that's the thing. I think a lot of players want to step up and really increase their numbers this year. And I think offensively, the Red Wings were challenged offensively last year. I think this year a lot of those players want to take a step up. We mentioned Philip Zadina. I'm sure he'd like to put the biscuit in the basket more often. But there's opportunity for the Red Wings, and when there's opportunity, you got to take it.
Absolutely. And as we look at tonight's roster, some of the veterans that we'll see again, and Nick Letty. What have you seen out of Nick Letty? Now, I know he has that veteran presence on the ice, but in the locker room as well. I'm sure that means a lot to this young core that we have coming up.
Well, he played a lot of ice time along with Mo Sider, and we'll talk about Mo in a minute here. But Nick Letty's a puck-moving defenseman. He's a veteran. He's played with some good teams. He knows the defensive system that was implemented by Barry Trotz at the New York Islanders, and I think he can bring some of that here to Detroit as well. I like the blue line core going into the season. I think they have some good veterans with some nice youngsters on there, and one of the youngsters is Mo Sider, and I thought he really took the bull by the horns. He looked confident back there, played 21 minutes and 18 seconds, +1, didn't look out of place. One time Tage Thompson beat him, but he's a big, strong forward. But overall, I thought he played a whale of a game.
And you know what? When you see Moritz Seider out on the ice, it looks like he's been playing in the league for years. He has this poise about him that it just looks like he's hard on the puck, but also graceful with it, which is kind of interesting to say about someone of his stature.
Carly, you mentioned that word poise, and you're absolutely right about that. I remember when Steve Yzerman first came in, he was 18 years old, and after the first 3 months of the season, people were saying, Steve Yzerman has the poise of a 25-year-old out there, and that's what we can see from Mo Sider. Certainly, he's excelled at all levels. He's ready for the National Hockey League right now, and you can only judge him by one preseason game, but if I judged him during that one preseason game, I'd say, you know what, he played really well.
Yeah, no kidding. I couldn't agree with you more. And what we saw out of main camp, because he wasn't at prospects camp, out of main camp, he looks like he's already on the team. Like he knows he can do it. He knows he can play in the NHL because he's played amongst men before, and he doesn't look out of place at all.
He really wins the battles in the corners, but what I really like about him is he can make that first pass to the forwards and send them on their way. And if you have center icemen or wingers coming back hard to help out on the blue line, you want that defenseman to get you that puck so you can get out of the defensive zone and move into the offensive zone on the attack. And the more time you spend in your offensive zone, the less chance the other team's going to score. So I thought he did a really good job of not only winning battles in the corner, but Mo Sider did a good job finding his forwards with that first pass.
And you know what? That's exactly what I was talking about yesterday during intermission breaks when we have our Game Day Live show here. It almost seemed like the shots on net, looking between the Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings, the Red Wings were playing a lot in their offensive zone. They had a lot of shots on net. So what do you think contributes to that? And what do you think has changed from last season? Because it seemed to be going the other way for the Red Wings.
Well, controlling the puck. And I just think that the more you have the puck, and I can think back of the Red Wing championship years, the other team never touched the puck hardly. and when you have the puck, the other team doesn't get many good scoring chances, and they don't score many goals. And if you have offense to back that up, you're going to win a lot of hockey games. And I thought the goaltenders really played well. And Nedeljkovic gave up 2 goals in that game against Buffalo. The last one was a power play goal towards the end of the power play. But with that said, I thought Victor Brattstrom, and you and I saw Victor Brattstrom up in the Prospects tournament. He was solid in the game against the Dallas Stars, looked good in the red-white game, did not allow a goal like Calvin Pickard in that Chicago game. Victor Brattstrom's a big, tall goaltender, competes hard, and it's really nice to have a guy like that who will probably play in Grand Rapids. And, I think they're going to have some goaltending. They're going to be smiling about their goaltenders this year, just like we are here in Detroit.
Sure, absolutely. And as you mentioned, Calvin Pickard, he will be in net tonight alongside Thomas Greiss. And I do want to talk about Calvin Pickard, who had an outstanding first preseason game for the Detroit Red Wings in Chicago against the Blackhawks. He stopped all 24 of 24 shots he faced in regulation and then had a great shootout go. So what do you expect to see out of him? Do you think we can see the same kind of play that he showed us on Wednesday night in Chicago?
If he does, that'll be sensational. That's the best I've seen Calvin Pickard play in a Red Wing sweater, Carly. And he was just so good out there. And he made 2 big saves in the overtime on Hagel. That was just really, really outstanding. And you need your goaltenders to come up big, and certainly he did.
Absolutely. So hopefully we'll see the same thing we saw on Wednesday night in Chicago here tonight at Little Caesars Arena. That would be a great go for Calvin Pickard there. But we're going to move on and talk a little bit about the Blue Jackets, who we haven't really talked much about. We talked a lot about the past couple games that we've seen out of the Detroit Red Wings, but let's take a look at tonight. So Columbus Blue Jackets are coming in. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. What are some struggles that you think and some challenges you think that the Blue Jackets face this season that the Red Wings could capitalize on?
Well, they have a new head coach in Brad Larson, so it's going to be a little bit different. Last year they had John Tortorella, and, players love playing for him, but he's really hard on the players as well. He demands everything you got. And, I look at there's some question marks. I look at Patrick Laine. He came over from the Winnipeg Jets in a trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois, and I believe he underachieved last year. He's a 40-plus goal scorer. They need him to start scoring some goals for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He underachieved last year. The other question mark is Zach Werenski. Of course, we all know him because he's from Michigan. Now that Seth Jones has left the organization and moved to Chicago, the question mark is, can Werenski handle being the number one guy, play all the minutes, play against the other team's top players? I think he can. I think he's a really good defenseman. He signed a big deal in the offseason. So that's a question mark. Can he do it? Can he handle that pressure? And the other thing is goalkeeping. They've got two goalkeepers in Korpisalo and Merzlikins, and if they can really play well and they're capable of doing that, then maybe they can move up in the standings. They finished 8th behind the Red Wings last year, so if they get the good goalkeeping, get some of these players that they picked up like Jakub Voracek and Jack Roslovic, I think that they can make a move up north, but if they don't, then they might be staying in the basement.
And a player you just mentioned that I want to talk about, Jack Roslovic, who is my player to watch that I'm picking for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He had a great first season with the Columbus Blue Jackets coming from the Winnipeg Jets. 48 games played. He had 12 goals, 22 assists, and 34 games played. But, as I'm looking at those outstanding numbers, I also see a minus 11. So maybe he has some weak spots that the Red Wings can capitalize on, especially the forwards, and get some scoring going early. But what would be the key to beating out someone who has that kind of offensive mind?
Well, Jack Rosavik is an interesting story because he came over from the Winnipeg Jets in the trade with Patrick Laine. He actually played better when he came over, and nobody expected it. And he actually had a really good start with the Columbus Blue Jackets, tailed off a little bit. I think the question mark with Rosavik is, can he put a full season together and work on that plus-minus a little bit, although minus 11 really isn't that bad for the time that he plays in the hockey game.
Sure.
But I just think that he's an outstanding player, too, and they're counting on a lot of guys. They need balance just like Detroit if they want to move up in the standings.
Yeah, and hopefully they can't beat out the Detroit Red Wings tonight. As I said, puck drop is at 7 p.m. It will be on Bally Sports Detroit Plus. But Ken, I do want to get a key to the game from you, as I always get. I love to hear Ken Cal's keys to the game.
Well, for the veterans out there, it's just another game for them. They want to go out there and try to do what they have to do. You're not going to see them, push it, But I think as a team, the Red Wings really want to put together balance, as I mentioned too. They need scoring from all four lines. They still want to see Mo Seider and company play well and play a consistent game. That's key too, consistency. Sure. So, overall, I think it's another good game for youngsters like Lucas Raymond to go out there and show the coaching staff what he is capable of doing and earn a spot on this team.
I'm going to give you a couple Carly's keys to the game. I'm looking for a sense of urgency. I want the boys to come out, and I want them to, like they did on Thursday night, just come out guns a-blazing and start netting a few, getting the puck behind the goalies. And I also want to see a better special teams go. I do want, I like what I'm seeing already, but I want to see something a little better. I want to see something outstanding. So maybe that's a tall order to ask for, but, we have a Saturday night hockey game here at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. The Red Wings against the Columbus Blue Jackets, 7 p.m. puck drop. Again, you can watch that on Bally Sports Detroit Plus. Thank you so much for tuning into the Forecheck presented by PointsBet. Ken Cal, thank you so much for your insight as always.
Oh, appreciate it. Go Wings.
Let's go Red Wings.